Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the VoV Podcast, Voices of Vic. Today I am joined here, meeting for the first time, my good friend already, Moksh Guliani. Is that how you pronounce your last name?
Guliani.
Guliani.
That's fine.
I'm sorry. Okay. Good to have you on, man. Appreciate
It's good to be on.
Absolutely. Saw you at the banquet yesterday, the athletic banquet. It was really good. I don't know when this is going to be posted, so maybe the athletic banquet was weeks ago, but time we're filming this, it was all good. You won an award.
I did.
What did you win?
I won the first year award.
The first year award. Okay.
Yeah.
And what sport do you play?
I played soccer in the fall and winter, and I played basketball in the fall as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just joining everything. Yeah.
I'm going to do like 4 sports next year.
Oh, nice. Good time management.
Hopefully.
Yeah, we'll see. The first year award, what does that mean? It's kind of self-explanatory, but just for anyone who isn't involved with sports.
Right. Well, so basically the fact that they had a bunch of individual awards, right? There were a bunch of different criterias, and my captain, he sent it to me, and he was like, I think you should probably sign up for this.
Yeah.
The way it works is you just need to ask people to nominate you for something that they think you deserve.
Yeah.
So the first year award specifically, it was about sportsmanship. It was obviously awarded to a first year.
Yeah.
And so, I just asked my friends, I was like, hey, if you think I deserve this, then go ahead and nominate me. And well, it all worked out.
That's awesome. Yeah. And you also, I thought it was kind of funny, you won a raffle prize.
I did.
But you're a little late to the stage.
Yeah.
What happened there?
Well, basically, my friend had left early, right?
Yeah.
So we had his ticket. So I was looking at his ticket, and mine was on the table.
Oh, okay.
So I was reading off of what I thought was mine.
Yeah.
But it was actually my friends who had already left. And then the guy sitting next to me, he was like, bro, look at your ticket. Because I was like, wait, this is mine.
Yeah.
He said, no, this one's yours. And it was 625, which is the number that they called out.
Absolutely.
And I was like, bro, I got one.
That's me. Moksh runs to the stage. He's like, no, it was a Raptors jersey, right?
It was, yeah.
Very
Scotty
cool.
Barnes.
Scotty Barnes. Beauty.
I don't watch NBA.
You don't watch NBA?
I try. But it's like there's so many games that it's tough to follow.
That's fair. Yeah. But like you play basketball and soccer.
Yeah.
Those are the two sports that like you're interested in. Like, do you watch? I know you say you don't watch it regularly, but if you had to watch something,
I watch soccer all the time.
Soccer.
Yeah, I support Manchester United, which was a bit of a bad life decision on my part, but it's fine. We move. Yeah. I watch cricket a lot. I mean, being from India, it's kind of natural for me.
Yeah.
Or since I've come here, I haven't been able to watch because it's not available anywhere except for illegal websites. Plus the timings, time zones, and all that.
True.
Yeah. I try to watch basketball. Like I always watch the playoff games.
Yep.
Every season. And yeah, that's more or less it. I watch F1.
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 There is what happened recently. He came second recently?
Verstappen. Yeah, he did. He started from 15th, still came second. It's ridiculous at this point.
I've never met more F1 fans than when I got to university. I don't know why. So many people love F1.
I think it's all because of Drive to Survive. Like in the past 2-3 years, it's gained a lot of popularity.
Yeah.
And that's all thanks to Netflix, in my opinion.
Absolutely. And I was talking to my friend Ad, and he's an F1 fan. He was telling me how I don't know, this must have been, maybe it was a long time ago, but there's a controversy where 2 of the racers on the same team, like, kind of crashed into each other to make sure they won. Is that a famous thing? Like, do you know what I'm talking about? To make sure, like they wanted the championship over the other guy, and it was like they're kind of sabotaging their race in that.
Are you talking about, like, was it last year?
I don't know when it was.
If I'm thinking of what you're referring to, what happened is the guy who was in first place, right, Lewis Hamilton, is widely regarded as one of the best of all time. He's won 7 world championships, which is the joint most with Michael Schumacher.
Okay.
Michael Schumacher. So he was in the lead. Now the whole season, Red Bull and Mercedes had been like at it, like side to side.
And those are like usually the top 2 teams. And Porsche.
Yeah.
Those are like
Ferrari.
Ferrari. Yeah.
Porsche is, I forgot if Porsche, it's either Porsche or Audi. One of them's joining in 2026.
Okay.
Right now it's just like for the top 3, what's regarded as the big 3, Red Bull, Mercedes, Ferrari.
Yeah.
Currently Red Bull's the only one who's actually doing good. But as for last season, it was not even last season, I'm sorry. It was 2 seasons ago now at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was 2021. It was the end of 2021. That was the biggest controversy in recent times.
Okay.
So Lewis Hamilton was in first within like 5 laps of the championship ending. So they were level on points going into the race.
Yeah.
So basically whoever finished in a higher place would win the championship. And suddenly this guy, as people like to refer to him, Nicholas Gotifi,
okay,
a fellow Canadian, He crashed, which led to a safety car. And safety car regulations, I'm not going to get into all that, but basically, the race director, he bent the rules so that we can have racing, like proper racing. He said we came to see car racing, right?
Yep.
Which was wrong, basically.
Okay.
Like the bottom line is he bent the rules when he wasn't supposed to.
Right.
So in the final lap, Verstappen overtook Hamilton and he won. And it's still causing controversy like 2 years later.
Oh, I do remember hearing about that actually. Yeah. That's interesting. I don't know. How much of F1 is really the racer? Because this is my main argument all the time with people is it really not just like the best, whoever makes the best car, like whichever car drives faster? Because
primarily, yes.
Like how much skill is there really on like the driver's side?
I'd say quite a lot, to be honest. For starters, they pull like 8 to 10 G's on that thing.
Or I mean just like difference.
Okay, yeah.
Between the racers.
Okay, yeah. I get that. For starters, though, physicality wise, it's insane.
Yeah.
Like people try to claim that F1 isn't a sport, which I don't agree with.
Yeah.
Because it's really tough.
Yeah.
But the thing about ability is like racing ability purely is these drivers, right? They go karting a lot.
Yeah.
And when that happens, it's quite competitive. I'd say it's more competitive in the sense that it's more tight or more close than an actual F1 race.
Right.
The reason for that is that when they're going karting, all the karts are on the same level, more or less, as far as I know. Again, I'm no expert.
Right. Yeah.
But when it comes to the actual races in F1, yes, it is primarily down to whoever can make the best car, whoever has the most budget. Like, for example, Red Bull, they have, I think their chief engineer, I'm not sure what position it is. There's a guy named Adrian Newey. He's been in the game for like 20 years, more maybe.
Yeah.
I think it's 30. It's all down to basically the people they have, the car they can make. But even after that, there's always a difference between teammates, right? Like you can have Max Verstappen finishing in first place in the championship, but Sergio Perez might finish in 4th or 5th.
Which they're on the same team.
Yes, they're on the same team, yeah. So there's 2 reasons for that. One is ability-wise. In my opinion, Verstappen is a slightly better driver, yes. But the other thing is that teams themselves always prefer one driver.
Right.
Which causes a lot of controversy as well.
Makes sense. Yeah, I heard that where it's like you don't, even if you could potentially get the 2 best guys, you wouldn't want that. You'd kind of want an A driver and a B driver.
Yeah.
Which like what's the reason behind that?
Basically, when you have 2 drivers racing each other in the same team, it's just going to lead to a lot of conflict. For example, if like 3 or 4 laps in a row, you spend driver A behind driver B, they're just battling each other instead of actually trying to move up the field. So the thing with that is there's the like racing championship, but there's also the constructors championship. So what mainly actually matters to them is who wins the constructors championship.
Okay.
So they need to maximize the team's points instead of maximizing one person's points. And their strategy for that is that one person they focus on to get them to win the race or to do the best. The other person's like the support driver.
Yeah.
Of course, they win races sometimes. Sergio Perez won the last race. But then again, that was because Verstappen started from 15th.
Got it. Yeah. Have you ever like dreamed of being a race car driver yourself?
At one point, yes, definitely.
Yeah.
I would love to go karting. I would love to go see an F1 race.
Is F1 big in India?
Yes. Now.
Yeah. Now it is.
I know at one point, like,
post Netflix.
Sort of was. Yes. But then again, like in 2012 and I think 11 or 13, there was a race in India. There were 2 races. So in both those years, both of them won by Sebastian Vettel. So he's the only person in history to win on that track.
Okay.
After that, there was some tax issues basically, where the government started begging for taxes. They were like, "No, you have to give us this money. You have to give us that money."
Yeah.
And they couldn't carry on.
Oh, okay.
So, and the controversy is still going on, like in courts and stuff. It's been like 10 years.
Jeez. Are you born in India?
No, I was born in Canada.
You were born in Canada. Yeah. Okay. So what's your background? Like what's the story? How did your family, I guess, move here? Your parents are from India?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. How did they come here?
So sometime before 2000, my dad got a job offer in Canada, right? Yep. So he moved to Canada and he met my mom. They eventually got married. My mom was also from India.
Yeah.
They met in India as well. But then they got married, came to Canada. They had my brother in 2001.
Sure. They
had me in 2004. And I was only in Canada for a year. So I was born in British Columbia, Vancouver, Burnaby. Not Vancouver. It's the same thing.
Basically,
yeah. I was only here for a year. we moved to Atlanta after that in Georgia.
Yeah.
And I was there for around 8 years, I think. 7 or 8 years. I was 8 years old. Yeah. So 7 years.
Nice.
I was there for 7 years, and then we moved to Delhi in India.
Okay.
Yeah.
So just all over the place. When did you come back to U of T? Or like, are your parents still in Delhi?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
So in the summers, do you go back?
Well, I'm going back this summer.
Yeah.
Again, I'm first year, so
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Makes sense. Yeah. You are studying Rotman.
Yes.
How are you finding that?
Not bad.
Not bad?
First term was a little tough, but
Okay.
I think just mentally, physically, I had not adjusted to being here.
Yeah. True.
And I'm doing a lot better this term. I think Rotman itself, it's a very competitive course, definitely.
Yeah.
But it's not technically tough.
Okay.
As in, you need to when it comes to the study material, when it comes to the exams, when it comes to the assignments, it's not too tough.
Okay.
The main problem is you always have every single person in the program trying to get like one up on you because it's just the way it's built.
Mm-hmm.
So the program itself is not bad, but when it comes to the people in the program, that's where it gets tough.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay. That's interesting. Yeah. Because we actually just talked about Rotman on the last episode we shot, and my take on it, see if you agree with this or what you have to say. But like you said, the workload, like the actual work that you need to do in Rotman is not as hard. Like it's easier than the work you'd have to do in art sci, for example, like if you're doing a math major or a CS major, for example. But I also believe that the work that you guys are doing is more important. It's more, or maybe not more important, but more applicable. Like it is more useful knowledge that you guys are getting compared to the art sci students. What do you think about that?
I prefer not to speak.
No?
I don't want to offend anyone.
Okay, fair. We're not going to get Moksh canceled.
But one thing I'll say is I agree with the first part for sure.
Yeah.
That the work that people in like life science majors and all that, what they do, the work they do is specifically in university and the assignments and all, much tougher.
Right.
The programs themselves, much tougher. When it comes to the work that we're actually doing, like practically applying to life.
Okay. Understood. Because I had an interest in doing Rotman, but I didn't think of it till second year, which is basically very difficult to get into after. Instead of like you have to pretty much go in straight from high school, right? Do you have any favorite Rotman professors? Because
Michael Kahn.
Same. I love Michael Kahn. Michael Kahn is my favorite professor I've ever had because I took him for an MGT course.
Yeah.
Which is like
MGT 100, right?
MGT 100,
It's the same thing as RSM 100.
Okay, so there you go. For some reason, I don't know, I love the charisma that the Rotman professors have compared to the art sci professors. Not saying that the art sci professors aren't good. I'm just like it's a different level of energy.
It's the whole, professors bring. You have to be social, you have to network, it's all of that.
Yeah.
It's just, I don't think you can be in a field like whatever Rotman leads you to, like finance, investing, whatever. Yeah. You can't be in a field like that and not know how to talk to people.
True. And honestly,
that's go anywhere if you can.
Yeah, that's the case for a lot of fields though, like even beyond Rotman.
True, of course.
Yeah.
But like for Rotman specifically, it's a requirement.
It's basically. Like absolutely necessary. Yeah. And then the professors do a good job of embodying that.
What one thing I'll say about Michael Kahn, I think he's a great professor. I struggled with that program a bit, with that course, a bit though, simply for the fact that he says everything I say is testable. And I missed a few of his classes.
Oh, shoot.
So that led to a few problems. And there were a couple lectures where he brings on like guest speakers, right?
Yep.
Those were boring.
Did you not have the Starbucks CEO?
We had, Howard Bewa, I think his name is.
Or he was, the former president.
Yeah. We had Ron Montero. We had another guy who I can't be bothered to remember. Sean Mullen.
I liked most of them. Yeah, I know. It was very interesting. Like at the very end of the course, like end of the semester, he asked the class what I guess their favorite part of the class was. Like what did they like most about the semester? And I said to him, it has nothing to do with the material you guys are teaching. I just am a big fan of the way you guys are presenting yourselves on stage. Because I think that is important for a lot of people to take from. It's more than just being able to remember all this information. It's literally how you present yourself in the world day to day. But Michael Kahn's, I don't know, I like him. He's a great personality. If you
He's
check,
a G.
He is a G. If you check his Rate My Professor, it's very polarized. I feel like a lot of students either are like Michael Kahn's the best.
I've seen that. Or he's the worst.
Or he's the worst guy ever, right? Yeah. I'm currently with David Goldreich. I don't know if you've had him.
Me as well.
He's good, right?
He is. I like him. He's my second favorite so far.
There you go.
The thing with Michael Kahn is I'd say he's my favorite simply because of the way he presents himself. It's the same for Goldreich, of course.
Yeah.
And in fact, I have more interest in Goldreich's course, but statistically speaking, I was better at RSM 100, Michael Kahn's, because I'd done that in school.
True.
So just the course itself, even though, yes, the problem that, like, he says everything I say is testable, right? Iconic quote.
Yeah.
Because I missed a few classes, it got a little tough in some areas. Yet, at least from the textbook, I knew everything already. For finance, it's a little tougher. So I think it's just the course itself is what leads me to make that differentiation between having, like, Michael Kahn as the top professor and then Goldreich as the second.
Absolutely. No, that's good. I also think that there's a bit of an age gap where Michael Kahn's a little younger. I think he's a little more relatable.
Yeah.
Goldreich is, I mean, there's something to aspire to be able to be, I mean, I don't know how old he is, but obviously he's older than Michael Kahn, and he still has that energy level, which is like very impressive.
Exactly.
Because most guys, when they reach his age, would just like be calling it, right?
Yeah.
But he, every morning, Monday morning, we have his class. Every Monday morning, he's ready. So that's definitely good to see. In terms of Rotman, in terms of finance, what we're talking about, I'll ask you, what do you see as life success? Do you think money is a way to measure it?
No. This is sort of a cringe cliche answer, but I just think satisfaction is the way to measure it, because you can have someone who's a millionaire, you can have someone who's a billionaire, who's always striving for more, who doesn't believe they're successful yet. Like, they'll be like, until I make like the Forbes top 30 for something, I'm not successful. On the other hand, the definition of success for a poor man could be to be able to provide 2 or 3 meals a day for his family.
True.
So generally speaking, success is just being able to meet your goals and being able to strive for more, like being capable to do that, whatever your personal goals are. But specifically speaking, for someone who's in Rotman, success is money.
Yeah, true. There's a lot of different ways. I've tried to find, I mean, I guess there's not one specific answer, but there's different ways, different lenses you can look at it. When I was younger, like in high school, one of my takes was success. To be successful is to achieve more than what was expected of you. So if you're, let's say, I don't know, if you're born into a very bad household, let's say your parents are addicted to drugs, you didn't get fed well growing up, whatever, you were also like, because of that in high school, let's say you were running the streets and you were selling drugs and all this terrible stuff, committing crimes. Success could literally be just like getting a job at Subway and selling or
getting a proper education or something.
Right. You know what I mean? So that is success, because your start was so like, you were down here and you climbed up.
Yeah.
Whereas if you were born if you're the son of a millionaire, and you just kind of,
success is creating your own legacy, I'd say.
Right. Yeah. And that's the thing. It's not that anyone born rich can't become successful. Like if you look at, like, Donald Trump was born into millions, but then he became like the president. Yeah. So that's still achieving more than what I guess your parents did. So it's kind of like, definitely, you have to upgrade every generation.
That's the thing. It just depends on your life situation. So you can't necessarily quantify it. Yeah. I'd say. But yeah, like I said, success in general is just doing, like you said, rather, just doing more than what was expected of you.
100%. How focused are you right now on school being your key to success? Do you think that Rotman's going to be your kind of entrance into the world of work, or
I would certainly hope so.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I wouldn't be paying this much to them.
Fair.
In all fairness, I was born in Canada, so I'm paying less than most people around me. Yeah. But still, again, the whole, like, depends on how you were born. I know people who, for them, it's like pocket change. For me, I have a brother. He's about to go into his graduate program, so it's a little tough. Yeah, absolutely. As in, I need to make sure that I make it worth it. It's not like, I dropped a solid 100K for 4 years, doesn't matter. No, I'd certainly hope so. I can't say for sure where, like, if and hopefully when I get success in life, I can't say for sure where it'll come from or what will be the defining factor. Yeah. But I definitely hope that this is a very major part of that.
100%. Yeah. And with Rotman, like you said, there's a lot of networking. Is that like, how big is that in first year?
Very big.
Very big?
Very big.
Like events, what? Like just talking to people in class?
Just go to as many events as you can.
Yeah.
Go to your classes. Speak to whoever's sitting around you.
Mm-hmm.
It's tough. What I'll say is it sort of becomes a toxic culture that you always have to go out. You always have to be with people. You always have to be social, which is not true. Like there's this culture, there's this belief that networking is the most important thing.
Right.
Yes, it is. But people put too much stress on it, in my opinion. So there's a way to do it without not having time for yourself. Because there are people who believe that networking means never being alone, never being with yourself, never being in your own thoughts. You always have to be with someone else.
Right.
Then again, there's another aspect of it where, and Michael Kahn teaches this, or was it Sean Mullen? I'm not sure. It was in RSM 100 that he taught this. Basically, networking, people believe that networking is just talking about yourself.
Yeah.
Like you introduce yourself to the other person. No, you have to let the other person introduce themselves to you.
Right.
So they teach that in the course. It's like, when it comes to networking, what you have to make sure you do is that you ask them questions.
Mm-hmm.
People, when it comes to networking, what they try to do is they just go on and on. They can drone on for hours about themselves. And it doesn't work. So the best way to do it is to make sure you keep a solid, like I'd say work life or study life balance, where you are networking as much as you can. But then you also make sure that you're not like going crazy. You're like, oh, I have to go here. I have to go there. I have to speak to this guy. I have to meet as many people as I can. No, not necessary.
100%.
And when you are, you need to make sure that you actually make it what it's about. You know, you get to know the other person.
Yeah.
Rather than just getting connected on LinkedIn. That's not going to do anything.
True. Yeah. Very true. There is a kind of a reputation, I wouldn't say a reputation, but critique that people are only going there to kind of gain off each other, which isn't bad, but it's like, it's some people think it's just using other people. Like, do networking events work as well as people say they do?
I can't say for sure. I've been to a couple. I haven't been to as many as I would like. Again, because had I been to more, I would have had a more solid answer.
Right.
But I think the thing with it is that, yes, they definitely try to gain off each other. Like I said, basically what people are trying to do is they're trying to get connections on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
Students, at least. Most of them. So when it comes to going to a networking event, when it's about speaking to people in class, anything like that, a lot of people, they are definitely just trying to, they're trying to talk to you. Yes, they want to make themselves feel better about themselves. Yeah. I know a lot of people who do that. They'll speak to you just so that they can prove that they're better. And that happens in networking events as well.
Yeah.
But the bottom line is, if you're going to a networking event, you can make it useful, and you can make it useful in a positive way.
Right.
Like in a morally right way. There's people who make it useful in a questionable way. As in, they connect with all these people, they speak to them, but they don't do it the right way.
I guess the approach is what matters.
Yeah, exactly.
Because like at the start when I said people are trying to gain off each other. I mean, that's kind of like life. Like everyone's trying to gain off each other. Like when you hang out with your best friend, the only reason you guys hang out is because both of you gain something from each other's time, right? I mean, this podcast, I am speaking to you right now because I have something to gain from talking to you on this podcast. You have something to gain from getting on this platform, and also like it's a mutually beneficial transaction, right? But when the approach is wrong, when it's just like, I don't know, kind of awkward, like you said, if someone's just talking about themselves, it doesn't come off as I guess positively or well intentioned. You know what I mean? So it's definitely interesting. But yeah, I like that point about talking about the other person because like you can people love themselves. So if you give a person a chance to just, you know, tell you about who they are, they're going to love the conversation. They're going to think they like you, but they're actually just telling about themselves. They love themselves. That's
the whole point.
It's smart. Makes a lot of sense. Do you have any aspirations beyond school? Do you think long-term like that?
I do. Yeah.
What are some big things you see for your future?
Work-wise, in what sense do you mean?
Work-wise, family-wise.
Okay. Work-wise, I would love to be in New York for a few years.
Okay.
Yeah, that's one of my main goals. But that's not as long-term. That's like within a couple of years after graduating.
Yeah.
The reason is, again, I'm in Rotman. It's just how it is.
Yeah.
If I want to earn money, it's one of the best places to go.
True.
It's tough living there with the rent and just the whole city itself, it's very, very busy.
Yeah.
And myself personally, I'm more of like a laid back guy, I'd say. I enjoy city life, but I prefer the suburbs. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
For my family, it's more like much more long term. It's like 15, 20 years down the line. I want to make sure that I'm near them. Okay. So like my parents are in India, and they're probably going to be there for a while. But I have a plan, which is probably going to move back to Atlanta. Probably.
Okay.
Either Atlanta or somewhere in the US.
Yeah.
So if I am there, then long term, I want my parents to move back to the US and so that they can be near me.
Right.
Because the time that we were in the US, what I saw was that my parents were always like sort of struggling with the fact that their own, like my grandparents, their parents were so far away.
Yeah.
So just meeting them, just speaking to them would get tough. And I don't want that same situation to happen.
True.
So long-term, family-wise, that's what I think. I just want to be able to provide for them, and I want them to be near me.
That's great. That's a good thing to hope for, yeah. My grandparents live like an hour and a half away, which like even that, like we don't see them too often. So no, it is nice. I'm a big fan of like large family units because it's helpful, especially if you're like raising kids too, like with that type of environment, just to have grandparents around, whatever, aunts, uncles, cousins, all that type of stuff. Do you have a big family or no?
Relatively, yes. As in, I'm not close with the extended family. Yeah. Some of them live in Australia. Some of them live in the States.
Australia?
Like 4 or 5 of them.
Okay.
Some of them live in the States. Some of them live in India.
Yeah.
But those that are in India, yes, they're all nearby, like Delhi, Noida, just the whole surrounding area, basically. So yeah, I have a large family, but not necessarily close with all of them. So I'd say when someone asks me about my family, the only thought that comes to mind is my parents and my brother.
Right. Nice. And older brother, younger brother? Older? Yeah. Nice. How's your guys' relationship?
Very nice.
Yeah?
I miss him a lot. I haven't seen him since August.
That's good. That's good. I think that like nowadays, I mean, I don't know about sisters. I can't speak for sisters, but a lot of the brothers I meet, or you know what, not even brothers, like siblings, a lot of the siblings I meet aren't as close as I think like they should be.
Yeah.
Like it kind of surprises me when you're not like there are like siblings who really hate each other, like dislike each other. Like they don't have close friendships at all, which is like, at the end of the day, like that's like the one person or like the main friend that like almost could never stab you in the back, right? Because you guys share blood.
Like you could have the most perfect family ever, but somewhere internally, there's always going to be issues. Yeah. With some siblings, with some in-laws, someone. Yeah. Someone's going to have an issue. Because that's just the way humans are, right?
Good point.
Like, we always have a problem with something. So, like I said, last night, I was with my friends until like 6 or 7 a.m. We were playing FIFA all night, right? We were just speaking about the most deep stuff ever. Yeah. So there was this one point in between where we were talking about what the problems with human beings is. Like, why do we face so many problems? Why can't we just live in peace? And sort of the conclusion that we reached is we don't let each other live our own lives. Like, if someone has some specific beliefs, or if someone has some specific lifestyle and someone else has something else, they're going to fight just for the sake of it. Yeah. And it's the same for families. Because after all, who makes families? Human beings. So no matter where you go, you're going to find problems in families. When it comes to siblings, I think they just don't realize how lucky they are. Yeah. I want to say kids these days, but I mean, I'm still a kid myself. I'm not going to lie. But yeah, kids these days, they don't realize how good they have it actually having a sibling. Like, I know people who are only children, right? And they've never known the joy of having a sibling. And I always feel bad for them, thinking, well, that sucks. Yeah. Like, sounds like a you problem, but it sucks.
That's an issue.
Couldn't be me.
Couldn't be me.
Skill issue. But the thing is, when I see these kids who have like, they're like, oh yeah, no, I hate my brother, we barely talk, or I hate my sister, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. It pisses me off, I'm gonna be honest. Because I have I'd say a borderline perfect relationship with my brother. Yeah. We've had our ups and downs, but the thing is, you need to know how to pull through that. True. So there are points where I'm shouting at him, like, I hate you. Yeah. All of that stuff. Have you seen Star Wars by any chance?
I've watched the first. Well, they go all over the place. I saw the first 7.
So you've seen Revenge of the Sith?
Yes. Which one's that?
The one where Anakin gets his legs cut off.
Yes, 3.
Yes, 3.
Technically 4.
Technically 6.
Technically 6.
Yeah.
Sorry, 3 of the reboot trilogy.
Yes.
So
No.
technically
3 of the prequel trilogy.
prequel. Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah.
Technically 6.
So there are moments where it's like, I'm Obi-Wan, he's Anakin, or the opposite.
Yeah.
We've gone through this whole phase of being super close to each other. Then all of a sudden we're fighting to the death.
Yeah.
But then it doesn't end in pain.
Doesn't end in Darth Vader.
Does. It doesn't end in Darth Vader. It just ends in back to being Obi-Wan and Anakin again.
Right.
I'd say he's Obi-Wan because he's the elder one.
True.
Yeah.
True. Are you you're a big Star Wars fan?
I am. Very big.
Oh, there we got merch. We got merch. Did the camera see it? Show. There we go. Baby Yoda.
Yeah. Very big Star Wars fan. I recently acquired a lightsaber.
A real one.
A real one. Well,
Could kill people. Who knows?
if you hit them hard enough.
Yeah, he hasn't tested it yet. Don't make him test it. That's funny. Like, who got you into that? Is that like your dad got you into that?
Probably, yeah.
Yeah.
Because he used to watch Star Wars when he was a kid, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
he's not that interested in it anymore.
No.
But if I'm watching at home, I'm like, sit with me.
Yeah,
Watch.
yeah.
I want you to see this.
Yeah.
So the first 2 seasons of The Mandalorian, because season 3 just released. So
Okay.
first 2 seasons released when I was still getting back into Star Wars.
Right.
Because I had watched all the movies as a kid. And then when Disney released the trilogy, at that point I wasn't into it. And then I was like, okay, I need to watch this all again because I don't remember anything.
Because there were a bunch of movies. I saw, like, okay, so yeah, there's the first 3, then the next 3, then they came back with like Star Wars 7. There's technically
7, 8, and 9.
Yeah, 7, 8, 9. And then what was there? There's some weird ones after that too.
Rogue One and Solo, yeah.
Okay.
And there's more coming out. So, okay, the way it works is chronologically, it's just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Yeah.
But the whole thing is when George Lucas announced his like plans for Star Wars, it was in I think 1970, I'm not sure, when the first movie came out. He released 3 movies, which was A New Hope. I forgot the second one's name. And I forgot the third one's name. That's actually crazy. The thing is, I always refer to them as 4, 5, and 6.
Right.
So yeah, he released those 3, and it was not called Episode 4, 5, or 6 then. They were renamed in, I think, 1990 or so, when the prequel trilogy came out, which was about Luke Skywalker's dad and his life story. So Luke Skywalker, of course, was the main character for the first 3. So the first 3, which is Phantom Menace, Empire Strikes Back, and Revenge of the Sith, that's when they got the names as well, Episode 1, 2, 3, and the first 3, like the original 3 movies, were renamed 4, 5, and 6. And then when the sequel trilogy came out, it was just 7, 8, 9. The sequel trilogy was
top notch. No, trash.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, I thought you were ready to do like Italian.
No. The sequel trilogy was trash.
Yeah. That's tough. So, I mean, this is in a Star Wars sense. You got aliens. You got what is it called? What's the dude that says it's a trap? It's a fish, right? It's like an alien fish.
Yeah. He's like a frog more like.
He's a frog, yeah. Do you believe in aliens in real life? In the universe, in the world that we're living in, galaxies.
What are we talking? Are we talking like it's a trap aliens?
No, we're not talking.
Are we talking like life?
Like just extraterrestrial beings?
Yes.
You believe in that?
I don't believe that like they're somewhere. I believe that they can be somewhere. Because I can't say that they are.
Right.
I don't know for sure. Right. That's okay. Okay. I don't know if I should say this. It's kind of religious.
No, that's fine.
Yeah. So basically, there's people who believe in God, right?
Yep.
We don't have proof that God exists.
Yep.
Now, I don't know what I believe. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Like, I wouldn't be surprised if one day there was proof that a higher power created the Big Bang.
Right.
Whatever.
Because
of course, science is what leads to all of this happening. But what was before the Big Bang?
That's exactly
I'm
the
so
question.
Confused. I don't get it.
That's exactly the question because I never considered myself atheist or like religious in that sense. I didn't really have much of a belief. Like for a long time, I would say I was agnostic, which is like you believe that it can never be known.
Yeah, that's what I am basically.
Right. Yeah. So I was talking to a friend of mine, and he was saying. I was saying, so like, yeah, well, the Big Bang started the universe. And then he was like, well, what came before that? And I was like this, and then blah, 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 blah. And then eventually you just get to a point where you keep asking what came before that. Exactly. And it's just like,
Because it had to
Something
have all
has to
started
start.
somewhere.
Yeah.
Where did we come from?
Exactly.
That's why I don't believe that there is extraterrestrial life. I mean, there has to be, but again, I don't have proof.
Right.
So actually, you know what? I take it back. I definitely believe somewhere.
I do. I also do.
At least, if not at this very moment, at some point there has been or there will be.
Even at this very moment, like I've seen
Definitely.
YouTube videos. When you watch YouTube videos of like, there's some that say like this is how small we are. It's like a little
The size
video.
comparison.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, and they grow, and there's like a sun that's like, or a star that's like 100 times the
Yeah.
size of the sun. Something crazy.
And those are like
this.
the small ones as well.
Yeah, like they get giant, whatever. It's impossible that we're the only thing.
There's no way.
Like, what are the odds of that?
There's absolutely no way.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. And the thing as well is like people try to prove that there's no extraterrestrial life by saying, "Oh, we sent out signals, blah blah blah."
Bruh.
So what?
Bruh. You can't
You
signal.
got left on scene. Deal with it.
Isn't the universe like constantly expanding?
Yeah, exactly.
So,
Life could be being created right now. We could have a big bang and like we could have a different universe.
Yeah.
That's the whole thing. We don't know.
Yeah.
There is life somewhere out there. There has to be, because if there isn't, wow, we really messed up.
yeah. Like, yeah, no, that's
Like
that's
we
very
were
true.
granted something special and we completely messed it up. Can I swear?
Yeah, no.
Yeah, we f***ed up really bad.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, it's interesting to think about. It's I don't know. There was what was that movie? I didn't watch it. The Truman Show. Have you seen that?
Yeah.
Where it's like different. It's pretty much the idea that there are different versions of you in the universe. Because like if the universe is constantly and infinitely expanding, then just statistical odds there's going to be another Moksh on a different planet, right?
Probably, yeah.
That is. I'm not completely saying that's 0%. That I believe less so in, but it's just interesting to think about.
Yeah, it is. It's just theories everywhere that I don't think we can ever prove.
Yeah.
It's the same thing as like being agnostic.
Yeah.
You can't say for sure, but I mean, maybe. Who knows? It's also in, Everything Everywhere All at Once.
What is that?
It's the movie that won like a shit ton of Oscars.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't see it.
I've saw it very recently, like just a couple months ago.
Yeah.
So it's the same theory. It's just the whole multiverse thing where there's one guy, right? And then there's a different version of that guy in a different reality. Or like it's like Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness or whatever. Yeah. There's a lot of movies about that. And I think like when you watch those movies, it's like fun and all. It's a nice concept. But is it true? Who knows?
That's true.
Yeah.
It's hard to say.
It's just when you start to really think about it, it just sends you into like this uncontrollable spiral of an existential crisis.
Yeah.
And it's just too heavy to process.
Yeah. No, you're right. I like thinking about these deep, like kind of philosophical ideas.
No, same.
It's I don't know. It's interesting. I don't know if I will ever find a religion, I guess. I think the scary thing with me, and I hope I don't offend anybody, but the idea that most of the religions, if all the religions are claiming to be right and they contradict each other, that means that most of them are wrong. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which, I mean, I guess, like, again, they all tie back to, I guess, this idea of a God. But it's, yeah, I don't know. It's hard to say because a lot of bad has come from religion. But overall, I think religion is a very good thing for the world. And I think that in a lot of parts of the world, if there was no religion, it would be absolute chaos. So even if there are people who don't believe in God, you can't reject the idea of God, because if you have a nation that God is making them act righteously, then it's still a real force. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because
it's
like,
the idea.
It is the idea. At the end of the day, like you can't reject the idea. So it's it's very interesting. If we circle back to intramurals.
Intramurals, yeah.
Did you guys win anything? Was it a tough end of the season? It was hard for us.
Yes.
It was hard for us.
Yes.
Yeah.
We were this close to greatness.
What division?
Division 3, open soccer. Yeah. We were 2-0 up at halftime in the semifinal. 10 seconds into the second half, our player threatens to punch someone and he gets a red card.
Oh,
yeah.
Damn.
We conceded because basically the way it works is in 6v6 intramurals, if you get a red card for 5 minutes, you're 5 players down, and then you can bring someone else back on. Because when you only have 5 players, it's much tougher. So in that 5 minutes where we had 5 players on the field, we conceded. Now, I'm the goalkeeper. So I was in the goal for the first half.
Yeah.
And what we had decided was, because of the rule that they told us, is that whoever's on the field when the clock runs out, like the full-time whistle blows, they have to participate in penalties. You cannot make substitutions after that.
Right.
So the captain, great guy, his name's Vedang. Shout out Vedang. He's also from Vic, of course.
Yeah.
He told me, he was like, okay, I want you to come off. I want to give the other guy time to play in this game, because if the game's going to go into penalties, I'm going to bring you on in the end.
Right.
So I want him to play for a while. Yes, we were 1 man down. We had 5 players on the field, but like, I didn't concede. So like, I don't blame myself for that, because we conceded twice before I came back on, which is unfortunate.
Yeah.
So at that point, when we were five men on the field, we conceded once. We scored again after we got our one guy back. Yeah. Obviously not the guy who got carded. No, he was about to leave. Gone. We had to convince him to stay. He was like, okay, stay, support the team.
Right.
It's fine. And then we conceded another one, and that was right when I was about to go on. So he's like, there's 3 minutes left. I want you to go on now. Yeah. But we have to wait for the ball to go out of play, right? And the ball went out of play because the ball went into the goal. Yeah. That was the problem. Yeah. So now it's 3-2. We have 2 minutes left, and they scored in like the last 10, 15 seconds. Damn. And we lost on penalties.
That's tough.
Yeah.
Last 10, 15 seconds. Damn.
This close.
That's a heartbreaker.
This close.
I feel bad for even bringing that up again. I'm sure you're trying to forget about it.
Yeah, no. Our top player, our best striker, scored, I think, 3 hat tricks. Yeah, he scored 4 goals in the first game. Nice. And 1 assist. He is French, right?
Okay.
So for him, the World Cup final was painful.
Right. Yeah. Absolutely.
3-3 penalties disaster. And this one was also painful. 3-3 penalties disaster. So after the game, he's just like, bro, every time a game ends 3-3, I'm just gonna get PTSD.
Flashbacks. Yeah. That's tough.
He has a pre-game routine, in fact, where I don't know. Did you see the final?
I watched the final. Yeah.
Do you remember the chance that France had right at the very end?
Like, what do you mean? Oh, yes.
It was literally the last second. Like, there were 3 minutes added on. It was after the 3rd minute.
Yeah, I can't picture. I remember the feeling though.
Yeah. Basically, they had a big chance. Yeah. Every time before a game, he watches that clip just to get himself in the mode, and it works. Yeah, it works. That's funny. I just think that, like soccer or like any sport. I don't like calling it soccer, by the way.
Football.
I just want to put it out there. It's football. It's not soccer. Yeah, football. Yeah, or any sport has a very big impact on our lives in all manners. Like it leads you to be more disciplined. It leads you to be more rigorous. It leads you to be more professional, even, I would say. But then on the other spectrum, you're more aggressive. You're more passionate. You have more desire. So I think there's not a single bad thing that sports give us. However, when it comes to other people, I know for a fact that some people take it way too far.
Right.
Yeah. Like, they'll get pissed just because you support a different club. Like, England fans, they were jumping Italy fans after they lost the Euro final.
Yeah. That's tough. Yeah. Man. Yeah, no, I mean, like you said, it makes fans, like, I guess fans particularly, more aggressive and that type of stuff. It's like, no, people take it seriously. It's like some people's livelihoods based on their team, which, like, it's cool, but yeah, you got to keep it under control. Exactly. Because, like, I mean, even as a player, you get more aggressive, like, especially depending on the sport. Like, I play hockey, and
that's very good.
That is a physical sport, right? I mean,
people just sucker punch each other.
Yeah. Like, our league obviously has those like rules. You can't do that. You have to get sued or something. Yeah. But like, no, in the NHL, it's just like you could have boxing matches, and the refs are just like, let him fight, let him go. So no, back to my point. Sorry, is that you can learn to be aggressive, but sports can make you aggressive, but you also have to learn to control it in that sense. Because in a lot of scenarios in life, like, the ability to be aggressive can come in very useful. I guess just, protecting yourself in bad situations, protecting others. But if you can't control it, if you don't have it under control, if you're just going to be like the Hulk, rage anytime, turn like green, then it's that's when it gets dangerous.
Yeah,
that's when it gets dangerous. No. Well, this has been a good talk. Appreciate you coming on.
I appreciate you having me.
Any final closing thoughts for the Vic people?
Thoughts? For the Vic people?
Yeah.
Stay fresh.
Thank you everybody for listening. You can see Moksh at, well, check it on Instagram. We'll tag him or something. You'll see the post. Thank you so much for coming on. Thank you for listening, watching, and we'll see you next week. Peace out. Awesome, man.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Hope you had a good time. Hope it was fun.
I did. Yeah, definitely. I'm looking forward to seeing the whole thing come together.
Absolutely.